The feather on the treble on the back, it comes on a lot of them, and it's real important to me. On all my poppers, I always use that feathered treble on the back because for one thing, it's a balance issue, so it kind of helps it stay tailed down a little more so it can stay. I want the bait to be tailed down more so when I'm popping it, I don't go plunk, plunk and jerk it and pop it hard. I'm still real light snap of the wrist trying to walk the dog like you do with the walking bait, and that's why that old P70 popper was good, because that old ball rattle and it rolls to the back and then it stays tail down, and you can sit there and you can make it stay in one zone. I can throw that bait right there, right up here by this podium, and sit there and literally just with real light snap of the wrist, I can make it sit here and do like this for probably 10 or 12 seconds and never move from here to there, and just by working your wrist and making it real slow. And that feather holding it back in the back a lot of times, as it kind of blooms out like that when you stop and go, it kind of, I think it causes a little friction, keeps the bait dragging, slows it down, so I think it's good for that as well. So weather conditions, water conditions, all that matters a lot depending on your region or where you're fishing at. Some places you can go, they'll bite top water all day, and that's always, you may have heard guys say before, that's always a mistake for a lot of anglers. Sometimes they start with it in the morning, they catch a few, and then it slows down and they lay it down and start doing something else, and then they don't pick it back up. But a lot of times the fish will go in that little lull after they feed early, but then at 11 or 12 o'clock on bright sunshine and totally out of character for what you think topwater should be, you can pick it back up and just wear them out sometimes. And I've done that in lots of parts of the country. So, you know, you got to experiment with it. You never know when fish are gonna come up and do things. So I'm big on sound. I run the Hydro-Wave on my boat. I've never been sponsored by Hydro-Wave or anybody else. I run them because I believe in the sound. I'm all about, I know fish hear sound because I've seen them activate around my boat many times when I turn that unit on. So having sound in the bait can only help. The reason for that is most topwater action I like to make happen, I make a long cast. That's the biggest key, and that's the biggest thing I see with an average angler that doesn't catch as many fish on top water is always because they don't cast far enough. And that's what I really believe that. When I guided for a lot of years before I quit, I guided all the way through my first 10 years of fishing careers, from a teenager up into my 20s, and everybody doesn't cast far enough. So that's the biggest thing I can tell you. And it's got a lot to do with equipment. If you've got the right equipment, you got a good high quality reel, the right line, all the stuff you need, plus a long rod with a long handle, you can grip onto it and you can sling it out there and let it fly. And I was working my bait back and forth, and I got it almost to the boat, and I see this big old black shadow like come rocketing up behind it, and it's right there. And now I'm starting to get down on my knees like, oh God, please let him bite it, please let him bite it. I don't want him to see me. And I stop it like right where that table is. And this is honest God truth. That bait sat there, my feather treble sunk down like this in the back, and I watched that 4-pound smallmouth go, and he pulled my cork under. That's what it looked like. My bait just went straight down. He grabbed my red treble hook in the front, honest to God, and pulled it straight down. Bit it just like this, just like a brim gets something, and you can't hardly get it out of their mouth because they clamp down on it. Well, he did that, and I'm like, oh, he got it, and I pull like here, and he goes, shoo, and he jumps 4 foot high and gets off. But that's a bad end to the story, but that's how it started anyway. But that's how a lot of smallmouth stories end. But
Hey, I'm Pete Gluzek.
And I'm Mike Iaconelli.
And this is Bass University TV.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Gluzek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests.
Everywhere I go in the country, I'm trying to use these techniques because I catch big fish that way.
From on the water to in the classroom.
We want to use that bait to help make that area even smaller and really find that sweet spot.
You'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills.
You want something that's got a nice limber action, that's going to allow you to build pressure and keep those hooks pinned against that fish's mouth.
Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time.
Hold on,
because you're going to catch some big fish.
Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best.
That's a key theory in all of fishing.
Subscribe to Bass University TV today.
Man, does it trigger a lot of strikes.
Here's the part that you're not going to hear anywhere else. This is the Bass University TV exclusive.